If there was a fly who lived on your wall and they recorded everything that you said and did throughout the day in the four corners of your home while you homeschooled, how would you feel if that recording was shared with the world? I often forget in my day-to-day life that God is always watching me. And while I know this as truth, I still do not behave and act in a way that is pleasing to Him. Now, I know for a lot of you guys, the reason why we chose to homeschool in the first place is because we want to be the main voice in our children's lives. But I know that in my home, the loudest voice in their lives isn't always the kindest. It's not always the most loving or gentle. I am definitely not the most patient or sweet to my children. These are the thoughts that have been running through my head this past week and that have really convicted me. So if you can relate, if you feel like you are homeschooling your children because you want them to live a blessed, fruitful life, because you want to raise them in the fear and admonition of the Lord, if this is you, but you know that you can grow in this area, then I think that you will really enjoy today's video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Marissa. I am a Bible-believing Christian, a mama to 6, and I truly do love homeschooling. But just because I love homeschooling and I love my children doesn't mean that the way that I act and speak each day reflects those things. There are so many distractions and interruptions that happen when you are trying to juggle multiple children and homeschool. Things like the baby's nappy needing to be changed or sibling conflict. There are also the 1,000 times an hour where a child is saying that they are hungry. It is a constant thing that happens in our house. Let me know if it's the same in your home. There is always a child that is hungry. It doesn't matter how often I feed the children. It's actually ridiculous. And all of these things, when they build up upon each other, they are like this tiny little drip in the back of my mind. And while they are small things, they build up throughout the day. And then before I know it, I am snapping at the children. My attitude is sour. And filming my homeschool days has actually been a really big blessing in disguise because I am able to hear and see my body language and hear my tone. And throughout the day, I don't even realize how I am sounding or looking to my children. And this is not in a good way. I'm sharing how convicted I have been by filming these videos and seeing how bad of an example I have been to my kids. Ant and the grasshopper. The sun shone, the birds sang, bees buzzed, and ant ran. The entire point of me wanting my children to be at home is to guard them and protect their innocence. And when I am being the biggest resistance towards them seeing and experiencing the love and the kindness and the joy that Christ brings, wow. From here on out, I am committing to speaking life into my children, to speaking in a tone that is gentle. And they store their food for the winter, so that when there's no food, they survive. They are very wise. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. That's what this is talking about. So God is telling us when we have plenty, if we have a lot of food, if we have a lot of money, you want to store some up for when times are not going to be so good. That's the moral of this story. What else do we remember first though? The story began with...
Good!
Who was looking for food? And there is nothing wrong with firmness. I think that's something the world has really gotten wrong these days, is thinking that firmness equals like being mean or unkind. There is nothing wrong with being firm with our children. But when that firmness comes out of a heart that is bitter and resentful and that just doesn't even want to be there in that moment, that is where I am the one who needs to repent, not my children. Our kids, they do not have a choice in the matter most of the time. We have chosen to keep them home. And so I really think that we need to take that seriously and just keep checking in on ourselves throughout the day to make sure that our heart is in the right place. As I have been editing this video, I have been pondering upon the things that really set me off throughout the day. So I thought I would share these things with you in hopes that maybe you would realize that maybe these are the things that are creating anger in your home. Because for me, it's not actually my children. When you take a step back and look at the way we are living out our days, in my home, it's not necessarily my kids. It's these other little distractions that the enemy knows can just so easily take the place of our children. Distraction number one for me is my phone. It's such an obvious one, but for me, it's not necessarily scrolling on social media. That isn't the main struggle I have. My thing is needing background noise all of the time. Things like playing audiobooks or listening to podcasts or even playing YouTube videos. I have just become a lot more aware of me always needing to have something playing. Today, as I was cooking lunch for the kids and my two sons were sitting at the bar stools, just sitting there quietly, I started wondering, are my kids not talking to me because they are worried that mummy's busy and I'm going to get angry at them because they're distracting me? And it made me really sad. But the truth is, that is usually how it plays out.
Let's grab a book.
Anna, what are you doing? Are you an alien? You funny.
I will wake up and do my morning time, then I will get into mum mode and we will start homeschooling. But in between the moments of homeschooling, I usually play something on my phone so that I can get a job done. It makes the job more enjoyable for me. So listening to an audiobook while I'm doing the dishes or vacuuming our home, yes, it makes the job more enjoyable for me, but I'm pushing my children away because they don't want to interrupt mummy, because they know that if they do, I am most likely going to snap at them. I'm going to be short with them. I'm going to tell them to go away, mummy's busy. And this has just been a really big thing that I'm currently struggling with and I know I need to work on. Another thing is having days that are too busy. When we have an activity on for the day, I really need to be aware of how many things we have going on in the week. I have found that my kids they don't cope well when we have a lot of times where we need to leave the house throughout the week. They can cope with 2 or 3. Anything more than that, they get really tired, and I find that their behavior and their attitude tends to start to suffer over the following days if we are out for too long throughout our week. So trying to maintain a lifestyle and a rhythm where we are predominantly at home, that really helps, because when my children's attitudes are good, then of course I am naturally more patient as well. The last thing is maintaining a really simple homeschool routine. At the beginning of the year, like all years, I get excited and I overplan our term. And I just found that because I was scrambling every day to try to piece everything together for each lesson, I was obviously overwhelmed. which affects all areas of our life. When we are overwhelmed with homeschool, we're overwhelmed with our family, towards our kids, towards our husbands, and I didn't want that. And so I have really pulled back to focus on reading, writing, and math. This has allowed me to have more time to do those things, especially with my younger children. And then on Wednesdays, that is where we have our free days. So Wednesdays is when we will cover topics like social studies or nature or science, where the kids can do an art lesson or two. That's my day where I can just focus and be really flexible and kind of follow like an unschooling approach. And then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday is where we focus on our foundations. We focus on math, reading, and language arts. And that has been really helpful for my mental health. It's allowed me to remain more calm, and it's good because for the kids it's not too much. My eldest he's turning 8 this year, but he's still really young, and so knowing that he basically just has his reading, his math lesson, and his language art lesson each day, plus his piano, he does music too, and we do morning time, that is enough for them. They are a lot more joyful since I have been strict with cutting back on everything. So my hope for this video is that hopefully you felt a bit of conviction. If you haven't, then kudos to you, Mama. You're probably doing much better right now in your homeschool journey compared to me. But I really hope that this is an encouragement to you. It's given you some food for thought throughout this homeschool week. I truly hope that you enjoy your time with your children this week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.